I'm Emily.
And I'm Hannah.
We are best friends and dietitians. We have a goal of challenging nutrition misinformation and fitness trends with an evidence-based approach.
Each episode, we will dish up our thoughts about the latest facts on a popular health-related topic.
We're the Up-Beet Dietitians. Hi everyone, Emily here. I wanted to quickly jump in here and Hannah and I did not prep an intro for today because, or at least this episode, because you listened to last week's episode, you know that we kind of got carried away and we were originally going to talk about thin privilege and both fat phobia in kind of one episode, but us being us, we got a little carried away, recorded for a lot longer than we anticipated. So we decided after that we'd cut these episodes we'd essentially split the episode into two. So if you've not already listened to our episode about thin privilege, go check out that one. It was last week's. Otherwise, today we're going to get into kind of fat phobia, the issues around fat phobia, and stuff like that. So thanks for tuning in again and bearing with us and all of that, and enjoy the episode.
The second half. So welcome to the second half of the episode.
You guys thought we were fired up. This might be like the second 2/3 because that was just the intro.
I think we've already been going for like 40 minutes.
I know.
This is take your snack break, take your water break. I mean, you could still be eating.
The podcast I listen to, the host, they do take snack breaks like twice an episode. And they go to the bathroom, they have like a little jingle that plays.
Okay, I was like, what happens during?
And like commercials will play in between.
Oh, that's smart, yeah. Oh, it's kind of fun.
I know, it's cute. Like, let's go to a break. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Take your break right now. Before we get into the second half of today's episode, and this is something I think I'm much more, not to say I'm not passionate about, like issues with thin privilege and how society emphasizes that. But fat phobia is something that is just really grinds my gears. Really. So
it's so prevalent when you're on social media regularly. You see this so much. It's insane.
I always tell Hannah I have no chill, but people have absolutely no chill. I've had so many people just say like, I'm proud to be fat phobic. And I'm like,
yes.
Like, do you want a gold star? Yes. Like, what do you want me to applaud for you? Congratulations, you're a terrible person. Like, if you're proud, like, I will 100% admit 10 years ago, I probably had some internalized, like, underlying fat phobia.
Me too. Even before I became like teenager, even in college.
Yeah. Like, we were taught certain things, but like, if you reflected, and I would never say I was proud to be fat phobic. I would never say that. I was like, no, whatever. But let's just get into it. Let's get into it because I already know that we're going to talk about a lot with this. So fat phobia is essentially the fear and hatred of fat bodies. And this isn't like you're scared of fat people.
No.
Like it is not. It is like the fear of gaining weight. And being in a larger body. That is what it means. And Mary Himmelston, and actually an assistant professor at Kent State University, said something really good. I wanted to quote her on this. She said, fat phobia encompasses a whole bunch of things, namely weight bias and weight stigma, such as the idea that we see people of higher body weight as lazy, unintelligent, or disgusting. And additionally, she mentioned that there's this perception that people who are fat just sit around and all day and eat.
Yes.
And then also kind of further, she goes into talking about how fat phobia perpetuates these negative stereotypes and that it can lead to discrimination against people with higher body weight.
Yes. I literally got a DM yesterday from someone, and I forget how it came up, but people always send me these great DMs, like with their life stories, saying like how they've been treated and they're finally getting out of diet culture, yada, yada, yada. I just love it.
Yay.
But I forget why she brought it up or how she brought it up, but she's saying exactly that, like, because she is in a larger body, everyone assumes that she's just like sitting around all day eating Twinkies and pizza. where she's like, no, I actually have a pretty bad appetite. I like don't actually eat that much. And I hear
Yes.
that one all the time.
Yeah.
Working in weight
Same.
management, I hear that daily. They're like, yeah, I actually don't really eat at all.
No,
And
because it's not, there's a lot that goes into it.
yes, exactly.
It's not just calories in, calories out, as
Yes.
so many people think. It's not. It's we've talked about this so many times. But
Yes. I just posted a YouTube video. It's up right now if you're listening when this comes out, on the whole calorie deficit thing.
Oh my gosh.
I can't handle it.
We'll
If
link it.
One
We'll
more
link
person.
it
We'll
so
link
you
it.
can go.
Calories are not the only thing that matters.
No.
And so that's why telling or assuming that someone who is in a larger body, that they are just eating a ton of calories 24/7 is not actually what's happening.
It's
maddening.
It makes me so mad.
I'm infuriated right now. And this is the first bullet point. Okay.
I know. I wanted to get into one other quote though that I really liked. So many people had all these really good things to say about fat phobia, and I was like, I want to give them the kudos.
Yeah.
So Virgie Tovar, I apologize if I say your name incorrectly. They are an author and actually a host of another podcast, the Rebel Eaters Club. I've never heard of that, but very cool. That. Check them out. But they said that fat phobia is a form of bigotry and a form of discrimination that says that people of higher weight are inferior physically, intellectually, morally, and health-wise. I just feel like that sums up fat phobia so well.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. It's so prevalent.
It's everywhere.
And people are just so more bold about it.
Yes. And it's like everybody's, not every body size, but any like level of a relatively larger body is going to get some kind of hate, which is even more frustrating. Like even someone who is insanely healthy, but just happens to like, okay, what I'm thinking of, for example, is like, I am on like Fit Talk a lot, like just fitness people, because I'm a personal trainer. I like have a lot of people in my algorithm. That
I feel like I'd be scared to be there.
It can go either way. It can be very body positive or it can be very fat phobic. But I see a lot of like weightlifters who are female, who are like jacked, really great shape besides the way their body looks. Like they actually are just very healthy people, but they weigh like 220 pounds and they mention their weight and everyone like freaks out.
Yes. This has been a trend recently.
Yes.
Where like the women who are over 200 pounds are showing what their body looks like.
Yes.
I like the trend, but people freak out.
Yes, because of some dumb number. Like these women can bench press 300 pounds. Like you think that just because their number on the scale is over 200 means they're not healthy? Like,
no.
There
is a TikToker. I'm forgetting her name. I think it's Alona or Lania or something, but she's an Olympian. She's a rugby Olympian, went and competed at the Summer Olympics, like the highest level of athleticism, made the team, went and performed, and she weighs like, I think she said 205 pounds recently, and she showed some of the DMs she's gotten. Atrocious.
Yes.
They're like, you should take off some of that weight. Like you look so like you're carrying so much weight. Like you could afford to lose a couple pounds. She's an Olympic athlete.
She plays rugby. She's not meant to weigh 115 pounds. Like she'd be a terrible rugby player if she did.
Yeah. And it's just like
those 200 pounds could crush you. And I hope that she does crush you.
She could probably throw them.
Yeah.
I hope. Like they wouldn't stand a chance against her.
People comment this like, I don't want to stereotype. I'm not going to say anything mean. Never mind. But they have no place to be saying these things.
I was having a similar thought. I was like, you could never be in her place. Like the Olympics never was considering you.
Yes, exactly.
No, you're not never.
Rugby
you didn't even make it past pressing. Like No.
No, you were in JV basketball. This is an Olympic rugby player.
That's what I was going to say. You weren't even
Gosh.
considered for collegiate sports. You're
D3
not,
tops. Like,
you're not the audacity to think you can go after an Olympian or these people who can lift twice as much as you, or like
for the sole fact that her body is 200 pounds.
that's
Not
it.
even because of anything, like any other reason. That's the only reason
No.
you don't like her. Well, this isn't about fat phobia, but I'm sure you saw my comments, Emily, about how I'm a bad dietitian because I'm not like jacked.
I actually haven't seen those of yours.
It's on that one with Gobbledygook when he went after me for 24 hours. The
I
comments are
commented
like,
on that one. Yeah.
they're like, why would I trust you? You're just some dangly whatever.
Which
I'm like,
you're
first of all,
not.
right, two things. I like show my head up in most of my TikToks. So you're basing that off of the way my face looks. So I don't have like a chiseled like monster jaw that like is just built of muscle.
Yeah,
Second of all, I wear like baggy clothing most of the time. Like you have no idea what my body looks like. And I don't often show it for that reason because
people
I don't
make
need
assumptions
that.
about you. And
yes,
like
they literally said I'm a bad dietitian for the sole fact of based on my head, I don't have the body to be giving nutrition advice. Insane. Like I went to school for 5 years and registered dietitian and a certified personal trainer.
and because of how we look, or
I'm not
because of how you
qualified.
look, you're discredited.
And because I'm a woman, but we won't even get into that.
Did you see my recent TikTok?
Yes, I
was hoping
that.
it got more traction. I'm like,
It needs to.
I'm like this.
Maybe I'll do edit. I'll do edit.
I was like this. I am willing to be the person to talk about this.
Well, have you seen like the whole nursing cap salary thing recently?
Oh my.
Same thing because of the women dominated field.
I'm literally like, why are we not capping CEOs? Why are we not
Right.
capping the billionaires? They don't need that much. Jeffrey
Right.
Bezos, he's not listening to this podcast. Jeffrey Bezos, you don't need that. You don't need to make like, I think it was 37,000 over like 17 minutes. That's what he makes.
Well, if he was a nurse, there would be no cap on nursing or a dietitian.
That also
Yeah, we won't bring gender into this right now, even though I just did.
The whole nursing thing though is like,
oh.
They'll probably come for us next. Cap us at 25,000.
20.
Like you thought you were making a lot. Jokes on you.
Like that was. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Those were great quotes that really sent me into a spiral already.
Yeah. There is a history of body weight and perception of health in class or wealth in class. Hundreds of years ago. History is my worst subject, so like correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. But way back in the day, body weight was seen as a representation, like having a representation of weight was seen as positive. It meant like you could afford nice foods, you had a lot of money to afford like wine. Like it's depicted all the time in a lot of art, I know, where like a lot of the women are of larger bodies, or they're like holding like a wine chalice, or like squeezing grapes.
Yeah, I can like picture that. Yeah.
Yeah. It used to be depicted as like higher weight, more wealthy, because you had more access to food, fancy foods. Come to common day, 2022, 21st century, the narrative has switched. Now, thin is considered upper class. And the reason why, you might be wondering why is kind of how did it switch? Because, and this is something that I want you to think about a lot, not you, Hannah. I'm talking to the people.
Hannah, you take this in and you think about it.
You listen to me. No, because this is something that I think when I heard it the first time, like a couple months ago, it just like blew my mind. But thin is now associated with upper class because it signifies that you have the spare time to think about what you eat. It signifies you have the time to prepare food. You have the time to exercise, and you have the funds to buy fresh, whole, the quotes are non-processed, I'm getting rid of that. Fresh whole foods.
Yeah. The funds.
People don't, this is not something that's thought about a lot. Having the accessibility part of it is something I know we both talk about a lot on social media. People don't have access to fresh groceries every week. That can be really expensive. People don't have access to all these like just like even grocery shop.
No, I have
regularly.
patients who have to base their grocery trip on when they get their paycheck because they need the gas to get to the
Yes.
grocery store.
Yes. They can't afford to buy all the fancy products to make sure they're eating the rainbow every day and that they're having the highest quality meat or their highest quality protein. They also don't always have the time. That's something I see a lot of is people don't have the time because they're working multiple jobs.
And I believe them.
Families. Oh yeah.
It's not an excuse. Like
no,
for some it is, but for most people, like time is
time is not
valuable.
We do not all have the same 24-hour days. I say that all the time.
I mentioned that in my calorie deficit video. Like those 19-year-old gym bros. Oh, you have time to go to the gym for an hour? No. Like no, not me, but like I have 5 kids and like I work 2 jobs. I'm a single mom. Like, no, I don't.
No, it's very different. And time is a huge resource that people don't think about. Also money. I feel like money is always there's this whole like don't talk about money thing. Money plays a huge part in this. I will talk about money all day and every day. I do not care.
Buy happiness, like
like you can.
Don't get me started on that.
You can have a lot. No, we won't get into that. But it plays, especially in it from a nutrition standpoint, not having to worry about how much you're buying, not having to worry about feeding your family, not having to worry about if you're even gonna have time to cook or like do you have to stop by somewhere to pick up something. These are things that not everyone has, but since there is this association within people having, I feel like it's always, they call it like the it girl on social media, where like they wake up early, they do their intentions, they have like their yoga, they do their green juice, they go to their workout class, and then they go shower, and then they go make breakfast, and by that time it's noon, and I'm like, you have a job? But their job is being an it girl. To be the it girl. That is their job. They get paid to influence, they get brand deals and stuff like that. Yes. Which is not to say they're bad people. I would love to. No,
I would love that job.
I would love to wake up and work out and eat
I know it's hard work. Like being a content creator is very tough. Like it's hard and a lot of work.
I would love that, but not everyone has the same accessibility to those types of foods. Not everyone has that type of time to spend like half their day working out.
Not everyone wants to. Like some people really like working a 9 to 5 and having their family they get to hang out with when they get home.
Yeah.
Like not everyone wants to be an it girl who's spending 2 hours in the gym and moisturizing their entire body for 2 hours after they come home. Like not everyone wants that life. And so we need to start making that like the ideal or like what everyone has to aspire to.
Yeah. The idea. Oh, I thought you were going to say something else.
No, I was just sighing.
Yeah, it is frustrating. We haven't even gotten to examples of.
Okay, examples and then dangers.
Let's get to it.
Examples. Okay, first one, we talked about this in the BMI episode, but this first example is when your doctor tells you that weight loss will solve any of your problems. They just like dismiss your cough or your sore throat that you have because if you just lost weight, you wouldn't have any of these issues. I hear this one all the time. All the time. And I see it on TikTok too, but like even personally with my patients, I hear this all the time. That's how they get into our door at Weight Management, is because their doctor made them come simply because they saw that their BMI was a whatever number. And they just like don't listen to them sometimes.
No.
Like, they just like
they're completely
straight up tell them like lose weight. And the advice, this gets me so mad. The advice that they tell them for weight loss, first of all, shouldn't even be talked about. Like they have a specialist, me or my entire clinic they can refer to, but instead this patient comes to get an antibiotic or whatever. They're told to lose weight, and to do that, they're told to do Weight Watchers, do Optavia, eat 1,200 calories. Like the doctors try to give the patients weight loss advice, and it's always terrible because these primary care doctors have to know everything about every disease ever, essentially, to be a primary care family doctor. And so, of course, they have terrible weight loss advice. That's not their specialty, or nutrition in general. But we don't even get into that, how doctors don't go to school for nutrition. But that happens all the time too, is then I have to like undo it, but they don't believe me, the dietitian, because the doctor is a higher authority. And so the doctor always knows better than the dietitian who works at weight management. But that's a me problem. It's not even a fat phobia problem. That's just me hating healthcare in general.
Yeah, it is.
It's infuriating. Like I had one yesterday who was like, or not yesterday, today's Monday, last week, who her doctor said to do Weight Watchers. She's like, what are your thoughts on this? My doctor told me I should do this. And I was like, no, you're seeing a dietitian. Like, why would you ever go to do Weight Watchers?
Yeah.
Oh, but it's because it's the doctor would see Weight Watchers as being an easy fix to this patient's weight problem, which is the biggest problem they have, according to that doctor. And so it's just an easy fix so they can move on to the next patient. And that makes patients, we said this last time too, not want to go to the doctor because they know they'll just get lectured about their weight the whole time.
Yeah. Which luckily I've seen that a lot of current like med students or newer doctors have kind of more of an open mind around weight, which that is good to see, because I feel like we always have to preface this in every single episode we ever talk about weight. We're not telling you that like there are risks with both sides of the weight spectrum.
Yeah.
But also we know as dietitians that having higher body fat percentage comes with some risks.
Yeah.
But that's not equivalent to weight always.
No.
It's
because
not.
like we said last time in the BMI episode, you could be a BMI of 30, but be a bodybuilder who has like 2% body fat.
Yeah.
So weight is not always the indicator.
Yeah, okay. Next example of fat phobia. So
this one's good.
this
one's so good.
It makes me.
It's so good. Well, so bad, but like it's such a good point.
It made me think of this because a certain podcast we both listened to reminded me of this. That past drama thing we were talking about like a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, that is why I thought about this one, but also, yeah. So an example of fat phobia is when anyone, healthcare professional or any random person tells someone, any individual of any size, not to do something, even if it's in their best interest and will better their overall well-being. They're telling someone not to do this because they might end up gaining weight. Even if they might be happier if they do this thing, even if their mental health might improve, even if like they have something if they have like a mental health thing going on, they might gain some weight.
Yes.
Telling someone not to do something only because it might cause them gain weight is fat phobic.
Let's give the example. We won't maybe name names, but the example.
I think we can give.
Okay, if you guys have heard of F Factor, we'll let you do a little deep dive on that. We could do a whole series on that one.
Yeah.
But the example could be perhaps telling someone not to take like an antidepressant because it has a side effect of weight gain, even though that antidepressant could
literally
so positively impact their mental health. Yes, save their life.
Yeah. Like,
but because it might cause weight gain, it's frowned upon. And that happens a lot. I hear that one a lot too. Patients like won't want to take any psych meds because of the side effects of weight gain. But their mental health is garbage. The entire visit, they're crying. Like, yes.
And we've talked about this where like mental health is just as important as physical health.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know what episode we talked about it in. We're like, I'm trying to remember what episode. I don't remember. There are too many. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And we talk about a lot of similar or common themes. But even if someone is in the best physical state of their life, they're like so muscular and their body fat's so low, they don't have, their cholesterol's within normal limits, like their blood sugar is stabilized, but they are having I keep thinking, I'm like, I need to put trigger warnings for these things. Like trigger warning, suicide. So skip ahead a little bit. But they could be in the best physical shape of their life and they could be on the brink of like committing suicide.
Yes.
But people will be like, no.
At least they're thin.
Yeah, they must be doing so well because they
Like,
look so well put together.
How could they want to commit suicide if they have hashtag body goals? Yeah.
It is.
Oh. Or it's like kind of along with this. This isn't like the whole like medication side of it as much, but like if someone is like doing a diet and they're being quote unquote successful with it, and then being told they should keep doing that diet just because they are quote unquote successful in losing weight, but their mental health is garbage, their relationship with food is garbage. That one I see in my comments all the time. They're like,
yeah.
Like just yesterday, I posted a video about how obsessively counting calories is rarely helpful for people. The comments were terrible. It always goes to the wrong side of TikTok.
Oh,
They
so
were
I was
like-
gonna say, I was like, if it's on Instagram, they're normally supportive. too.
Instagram, my Instagram people, I love you
They're
guys.
so nice on there.
TikTok, my community is great, but the problem with TikTok is it goes into the feed of anybody, and so TikTok decides who sees it.
Unfortunately attract a lot of
Hate. But anyway, I was saying how like obsessively counting your calories is a very negative thing for most people, and the comments are like, yeah, but it helped me lose weight, so that's why I do it. Like, yeah, maybe you lost weight, but like your mental health is trash. So
yeah, and now you potentially could have like a terrible relationship with your body, a terrible relationship with food for the rest of your life.
exactly.
But you lost weight.
Or like in that same video, I mentioned how like weighing yourself daily is often not healthy because that is also very obsessive. And everyone's like, well, I have to know my weight or else I don't know like what foods I'm going to choose that day. I'm like, that's a big red flag. But like, I just use it as like a data point. Like I just like have to know. I'm like, what does that tell you? Like the number on the scale shouldn't affect anything in your daily life.
It affects
Again, it's
my
just like-
mood, makes me upset.
What does Brendan say? It's just a machine. What does he call it? He calls the scale like some kind of like metal machine or something.
He calls
Which
it
is
like
true.
robots or something.
Oh,
like
a
that.
robot. Yes.
Yeah.
Says don't trust the robots.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Imagine-
yes.
Okay.
Sorry. You have more to say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This
Go
is
ahead.
not even relevant. I was like, imagine if a like a scale company like purposely skewed their, like, know how bad that'd be if they like
Oh,
made
so
you like
bad.
5 pounds heavier.
Well, this is another thing. Patients come all the time and they'll come at the end of the day where they've had 3 meals and not pooped all day. And they'll be like, oh, what the heck? I was 6 pounds less this morning on my home scale. It's like, your scale's broken. Your scale's broken. I'm like, first of all, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't even want to weigh you, but I have to because the doctor says so. And I have to like put it in your chart. But second of all, it is 4 p.m. You've eaten all day. You've drank all day. You probably haven't pooped since this morning. Like, of course you got 6 pounds of extra whatever sitting on your body.
Yeah.
But every time I'm like, I don't have time for that conversation every single time. I'm like, okay, great. I'll take note of that. It's infuriating. So that's actually already happening with scales. They're all very different, but also like the time
No,
of day
right,
obviously
right,
plays a big
right.
role.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That
this
would be
is
a
even fat
scandal in
phobia
itself,
either.
though. No, we're getting off track.
Yes. Okay. The next example of fat phobia is being constantly, we already went over this, constantly bullied in person and online for their size and even discriminated against. Like this one is like not even,
It's not
It's
even
everywhere.
just with food.
it's literally
Just
anything.
existing.
Yes.
Like Drew Afwalo,
Mhm.
she made a video. There's this one creator who she's just like in a larger body, and her husband's like, I think he's like does something with like weightlifting, and like she gets so much hate. She
Mm.
gets so much hate because she's like, they're like, you should leave her, and like, oh my gosh, you're putting up with this person, and like a lot meaner things than what I'm just saying. Like I'm saying the nice ones,
Yeah.
like the nicer ones of the things being said. And luckily Drew has taken a lot of those people down. But like she can't defend them all.
Right. And like,
And
ugh,
they're just in love. That's what they post. They post about how they're in love and they're like super cute. And
like, how does it affect you?
It does nothing.
Oh,
Like if I see this
Like-
joke all the time online, and people are like, "Do you even like women?" Like, you know, like the types of I rarely see women, but we're not gonna make overarching generalizations, but it's the insecure men. You know if this does not apply to you because you've never done these things, so you don't have to worry about it. But to the insecure men out there who probably don't listen to our podcast because they probably don't
They
think
would
we know
hate our
anything.
podcast.
They probably don't think we know anything. So we're like stupid girl dietitians.
women dietitians.
But like these insecure men, and I'm just specifically thinking of this example, but like they'll see a man like in a fitter perceiving body with a larger woman and they'll be like, why'd you do that to herself? And like,
You're stooping to her level. Like that chick could be way out of his league. You don't even know.
you don't even deserve her. And like,
Right.
why do you feel the need to, like, he doesn't care what you think. I promise you, he
And like,
does not care. Like he's not going to pick you. He's not going to be your friend. He's not going to like invite you over to hang out.
right.
He's not going to give you his exercise regimen or whatever he's not going to give you. I don't even know what you want from him. Like, what do you want from him?
Right.
I don't get it.
Right. And like, even if Drew like did lose weight to satisfy people's needs, like how would that benefit them? They would get nothing from that. Like it'd still be the same relationship with the same like boyfriend, girlfriend, doing whatever thing. Like
I said that story weird. It was a different girl I was talking about that was in larger body, but Drew also gets a ton of hate. Drew also gets so much hate.
Gotcha.
It was a different girl, but like same exact thing. Like
right. Like even if Drew did conform,
they both
to
work out a ton. They work out so much, and she like deadlifts like she hip thrusts like 300 something pounds, and I'm like, you could sock me in the like. She probably never would, but like, she's so strong.
Yes,
and it's just so annoying to me. It's so annoying to me how like the automatic insult for any time
it's just
I'm just going after
insult.
men. It's like,
I mean,
well, you're fat, so like,
what do
that's
you know?
literally every time.
Yes.
Did I tell you once how I got a like you're fat hate comment, and it like made no sense to me. I showed my face, like,
yes, that's the thing too. Like with mine,
and I was like,
I've gotten so many body
like,
comments.
What? Yeah,
like
and I'm like,
it's usually my shoulders up. Like,
I was like, you do not want to get in a fight with me because I will make you cry. But like, why is that
it's because they have no other argument.
No, like
and they have to like say something mean.
Yeah, it's just so many people need to go to therapy. That is my overarching recommendation for everyone. If you find yourself being miserable and having to make other people miserable, go to therapy.
Like you're allowed to like be sad and upset and angry sometimes, but like taking it on others is a whole other ball game.
Yeah, your emotions are completely valid. Like you just why
there's probably a reason that you're being so mean, but like
there's
fix it because it's shitty.
Yeah. And don't take it out on others who did nothing to you.
Right. Who are just like posting on the internet because they like to post on the internet.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. It's like some accounts, they don't ask for it. No one deserves to be like, get those comments, but like I post very controversial things. So I can kind of expect some terrible comments. Like if I was just like posting like, I don't know, if I was in a larger body and just posting like my outfit that day, there is no need. It's not controversial at all.
And the comments are awful. It's always like giving unsolicited health advice or being like,
just being a calorie deficit.
Or like one of the ones that makes me most mad is people are like, you should wear clothes that like better, like what's better
fit their shape or something.
Yes, like they like fits your body type better.
Or you look better if you were like bell bottom, A-line,
like something like that. And I'm like, just let people live their lives.
Right. Like we're all gonna die. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like if that person wants to wear some low-rise skinny jeans. Let them wear some low-rise skinny jeans.
Yeah.
Like, chill out.
Yeah. The internet makes me upset. But then again, I know there's a lot of nice people on there. There are a lot of nice people on there. It's just, unfortunately, I feel like there's just a lot, the people that post the hate are much more confident in what they post, and the nice people just like the video and move on with their life, because that's what you should do.
And I feel like we're exposed to it a lot because we talk about this kind of stuff, and it's very controversial. Well, it shouldn't be, but it is.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. I put this one on and I want to hear your opinion, because this is like, I feel like this is a controversial opinion, and I don't even know if like I'm just being like sensitive or like what it is. So, examples of fat phobia. Pitch Perfect, you probably have heard of it at some point. It's a trilogy about acapella women's group. Great.
Yeah.
There's a character called Fat Amy, and that always calling her Fat Amy made me so uncomfortable. It made me so uncomfortable. I'm like, I've never heard of a character called like Thin Lucy, Thin Molly. Like that's, I've never heard of that, but like Fat Amy, that was her name. Why couldn't we just call her Amy?
Right.
Like, I want to hear your opinions on this, because like Janelle, as you know, I'm very opinionated, and I can't tell if like I'm just being like overly sensitive about it, or like overly hyper aware about it, or it's like actually like weird.
I think that the reason I feel uncomfortable has changed. Like, when I had heard that name in the past, I was uncomfortable, but I think it's because I thought that fat was bad. And so back then I hated that whole name of Fat Amy, because I was like, oh, it's bringing attention to a really bad thing. I don't like conflict. Let's just like not even talk about it. But now I don't like it because it's like discriminating her for being in a bigger body, even though she could be living a very healthy life and all those things you just talked about. And so I think the reason why that makes someone uncomfortable is important to note. And I think my reason, because I've always not liked it either, but I think the reason why has adjusted as I've like changed my views on all this.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like, I would never call any of my, I know it's like fictional. It's like not real. I know that.
Oh, here comes Fat Hannah. Like, no.
But like there are young girls. I say girls because excuse me. Those tend to be more susceptible. They tend to be more susceptible to like body image issues and stuff like. Not to say the guys aren't. There, mental health in men and like boys is not talked enough about, especially with eating disorders and stuff like that.
Yes.
But right now I'm focusing on like Fat Amy. There are probably young girls that watch that and they're like, I don't know if they were trying to like, I don't know what the purpose was around.
I mean, it was in the era where like, I mean, it's always been like thin is best, but like that.
I feel like there were
extreme.
like fat phobic jokes in the Pitch Perfect movies. I didn't listen to I didn't watch them frequently because after the first one, like kind of the jokes were a bit like too edgy for my preference. But it was just like weird to me because I want to see a character then. Let's see medium-sized Susie. Like we're gonna say all these things like let's start naming everyone.
Let's just like call them by their pant sizes. Why don't we get size 14 Kathy out here and see what she can offer?
So bad.
That's how like modeling is, right? Like you have to like fit in a certain size or
modeling. We should do a modeling episode.
We should do a modeling episode. Not that we have an experience in modeling. At least I don't. Do you?
No.
Okay. I was like, do you have like a secret life as a model? I don't know about. We've never talked about it before.
I love watching modeling drama videos. So I love that. That's how I get my education, but exposure. But yeah, I feel like it's just like unnecessary overall to like even put that label there.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Our last example, even though there's thousands more we haven't even like thought of or put on here. This one I see a lot too, as someone who does have pediatric patients. Oof. Okay. Just the whole idea of putting a kid on a diet. That's the problem.
That's it. That's
I hate seeing pediatric patients because I work in weight management and it's expected of me to put that patient on like a diet, give them a calorie goal, tell them what to do. I can't. Like I cannot do that.
I feel like it's ethically wrong.
Yeah.
And I actually had scratch that because it's gonna indicate what patient I'm talking about. I've had experiences where I've had conversations with parents about wanting to put, they always ask me, are you familiar with the latest fad? They don't say fad diets, but I translate it in my head to fad diets. Are you like, do you have experience with doing calorie counting? Do you experience with these things? I'm like, yes, I do. But your child is in one of the most important, like from age 0, once you come out of that womb to like 22, I would say you're in a huge period. Like that's a huge growth period. That is setting you up for essentially the rest of your life and what's going to happen with your body.
What you're exposed to, what you like learn and gather, like that's your base.
Yeah. And also teenagers and adolescents are in some of the highest risk for eating disorder. I will never put a child on a restrictive diet.
Oh,
The biggest thing I would do is be like, let's eat more vegetables and fruit, or like, let's increase physical activity. Let's try to get some movement in, like things like that were just
that's
like,
what I do with my patients. Yes.
Yeah. Like you can do it. That's applicable for the rest of your life. It's not like, it's just trying to get like, typically just trying to include more variety and movement. But no. And oftentimes it is the parents have a history of disordered eating.
It's always the
and
parents.
They are projecting onto their child.
It's always the parents.
Which I'm like, I'll see you both and we can work.
Oh, it's so bad. Like it's basically a fight between the dietitian, the kid, and the parent. Like everyone's just hostile.
That is another thing that I don't think we've ever talked about, but like just we do not learn how to the only reason I have mediation skills is because I was an RA. We do not have mediation skills with parents and their children.
It's so bad. I hate it.
There are no like anything is in the realm. Like it's so
no, I've had a parent
awkward.
or a kid like cuss out their parent like right in front of me, like just like start yelling at them and like cussing at them,
and you're just like,
just eat some veggies please. Like I don't know what to do in the situation. Oh, it's so bad. I do not like seeing kids.
I like seeing kids, not for weight loss,
not for weight management. I'm also like not a parent, and so I don't know what kids like, so I'm super awkward with like 6-year-olds. I'm like, what phase of life are you in? Like, are you like making dinners yet? Like, where are we in life?
I didn't tell you this, but people might find this funny. I had I don't even think they were in elementary school yet, for like some, like they had food sensitivities. And the kid, I have a dietitian voice. I have a lot of also dietitian lingo. I speak in a very specific way when I'm talking to patients. That is not how I normally speak. That's just like how it's like almost like customer service voice, but it's like transitioned into like professional dietitian voice.
Yes.
And I say absolutely a lot. It's just like something with active like that, like active listening. I've like integrated. I was like,
integrated.
I was like, I'm very challenged right there. But it's something that I just include a lot in how I talk. And halfway through the session, the kid's like, you say absolutely so much. And I was just like sitting there, I'm like,
they're so honest.
They're brutal. And I was like, luckily it was like, actually, it wasn't like it was that mean. It wasn't mean. It was just, I was like shell shocked because no parent also like asking, we're going off track, but we're talking about it. The way you ask questions is so different.
Yes.
Like I can't say like bowel movements. I can't say things like
how are your poopies?
Yeah, that like fatigue. Can't say really things like that. Yeah. Appetite. That's kind of hard even to like
mental health. Like you can't
like
just
no
say
like
how's your mental health?
Yeah, and I'm like, how are your stress levels? As I ask like a 5-year-old, and they're like,
did you break any crayons today? Tell me that.
Yeah, it's just wild, the difference. Which
right,
makes me appreciate like pediatric like
oh
specialties.
Me too.
You gotta speak in a certain way. It takes a special person to be able.
You're so
to
right
do
though.
that.
Like I have a completely different like dietitian voice. Like I close that exam room door and I'm like a totally different person.
Yeah, the closest I came to realizing it was I actually I did some educations with my family, but I don't talk to them in my dietitian voice. But I use the same phrasing because I was doing like similar education. And they're like, why do you sound so like dead and unenthusiastic? And I was like, I can't summon that voice with you. Like, it's oh
my gosh, I have to be like so peppy. It's disgusting. I'm exhausted when I get home. I'm talking like this for like 8-9 hours. Oh, it's so exhausting.
I know.
And like I'm a cheerleader all day long, which I love to do, but it is like very exhausting.
Yeah.
Okay, once again, we got off topic.
I feel like we're so long. We're so
good
far
news
into this episode.
That was, I know we've been recording forever. That was the last example we have. So now we're going to get into the dangers of fat phobia now that we've gone through examples.
Yes.
Emily, I feel like you had a very special way of going over this first one, so why don't you take it away?
Yes. So, issues with fat phobia. It is more intense towards women. And maybe you're like, Emily, you're just saying men are awful. No. I got the evidence. I'm sure you've heard of the dad bod. And it is like people like I don't even know what situations. I don't really hear this as often anymore, but people are like, would you prefer someone like who is ripped or would you prefer someone with a dad bod? And like it's a guy who like is a little fluffier, isn't like, and just like that's it. They're just like a little bigger.
Yeah.
But it's like very kind of normalized. And in some like oftentimes people are like, oh yeah, I prefer dad bods. No, women cannot have the same things.
I know you've heard that podcast snippet of the guy who said his wife has to like get in shape after having the kid. We have not talked about this yet. I have
so many opinions about men who like make expectations for their wives.
He's not even married. He's probably some single dude living in his mom's house. Like he's not
he
married.
is. They confirmed that. No. They confirmed he was like, they did that episode like in like his mom's living room or something like that.
Oh, he's not married. Okay.
No. But like he's living with his mom.
But he's not getting a wife. That's the way he's gonna treat her.
No, like the thing. This like goes back to what we were saying before. Like when you say things like this, do you expect people to be attracted to you?
Like do you expect women to be like flocking towards you for like, being their motivator? He's gonna be my rock when I have a baby, making sure that I'm getting back into the gym.
Yeah. Like there's this one girl, I don't know her name, but like she like totally ruins these people, like talking about like, are you supporting her? Like, are you also taking care of the kid? Like, are you giving her the time and space? Like, is she's like all those like a lot of the accessibility things we've talked about, like having to like time, whatever it is. But no, the perceptions of what a woman should look like. There's like the ideal body type is always changing, but currently it's like thin, super thin waist, breast size. I don't know where it's at right now.
I can't give up that one. I think
that one alternates. But then like also like wide hips or like wider hips, but like toned body, like everything has to be small.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like you still have to be curvy. But if you have, I've seen so many videos where they're not even that, and they're not even big. Like the like girls or the women aren't big.
Just normal, not even normal, that's the wrong word, but just like mid-sized women.
Yes, that's a good term to call it, like mid-sized, and they get hated on for how they look. And they're like, maybe you should skip a meal. Like,
Oh, because they're not stick thin.
no, because they're not like looking like a Victoria's supermodel who a lot of it is genetics. A lot of it is they have access to top personal trainers. A lot of it is like they have access and time to like those like more nutrient dense foods. They don't have,
And a lot of them have disordered eating.
yeah, a lot of them have really bad relationships with food. But like it's just, there is a huge double standard essentially. That's like what it is just kind of both, like all people can experience fat phobia. Everyone can experience it.
Yeah.
But there is a discrepancy.
Yes, we could not talk about this topic without bringing up gender or like race. Those both play a role
No,
with
we
this.
cannot.
Which is our next one.
I'm glad we talk about, because I feel like people don't talk about these things. It's like,
No.
you know how people are always like, don't bring up politics and don't bring up religion. It's like people don't want to talk about race. Well, guess what? If you've made it this far along, you know we will talk about the racial inequities in healthcare and life. And
That's something I've been like learning along the way too. Like there's been this whole movement, I don't know how to put it in the right words, like the anti-diet movement, and how I'm gonna put this in the wrong words. I don't even know if I want to say it because I'm just gonna like not give it justice.
say
But-
it and then we could take it out.
Okay, yes.
You know, like
It's what your RD BFF is all about right now. How like white women are like dominating the anti-diet movement, but not even talking about the discrepancy or like the problems with like race and the reason why we even have a diet culture to begin with.
Yes, and this is something that we can feel free to take this out, but it's something that I'm more familiar with, and I feel like it's because I am a partial person of color, but there are specific individuals or a specific type of individuals that experience some type of discrimination, but then they also have privilege, and white women is one of those, where in the totem pole race, white people are at the top, but then in the total pole of like gender and like sex, men are at the top. So like kind of the people that fall between these, like they're kind of in two different things, are like Black men and white women. Those are like the two like more common ones I've like seen a lot of discussions about. And it is a real issue because the anti-diet space is 100% dominated by white women.
Yeah.
But I have yet to see like any talk about the racial issues in dietetics or diet culture,
which needs to be addressed so badly.
Yes. Like I see like all these like I guess I kind of count because I'm half white. So but I see all these like dietitians of color talk about it, but they don't get as many followers because they're not like what, I don't know what the perceived as like the ideal, and I don't even know if like that's right at all what I just said, but like, and from a sense of like a health guru, like they might not be as, I guess I don't even know if it's that, maybe it's just like white privilege. It might just be white privilege. It might just be it.
Yeah, it could just be as simple as that. Like,
yeah,
they just get more followers, like just because they have white privilege.
So, and that's something that isn't just in dietetics. It's on like social media.
Oh,
where it is. I follow a bunch of like POC creators, and they like, so many of them aren't verified and they have millions of followers. But like I've seen a lot of mediocre people, mediocre white people that just exist don't really do much, and they like gain millions of followers by doing sometimes nothing, like sometimes literally just like lip singing links. We've talked about this, like just like standing there and being, and this is something I put in here, but standing there and being conventionally attractive.
Oh, I always say this, if I was like conventionally super hot, can you imagine the followers?
You'd have so many followers.
Like,
not to say like it's not like you're not attractive.
I don't think I'm not. Yeah, I'm. I don't hate myself.
But it's not, you don't fit the like cookie cutter,
yes,
conventionally attractive appearance.
Yes,
which is like thin white blonde girl. I feel like that's like sometimes brunettes. Sometimes I throw brunettes in there. But yeah,
it ain't the gingers, I'll tell you that. We are not the standard. We're a special breed.
But I feel like we like started talking about this next bullet point, but then didn't actually like. The reason we talked about all these things is because higher weight people of color face both stigmatization around their weight and what they look like based off their race. And this is seen in like the wage gap. This is seen in medical discrimination and so many like aspects of life.
Well, like it doesn't get talked about. It just like
No.
happens, and then like nothing comes of it.
No one wants to have a discussion about it, or like people do have discussions about it, and people don't want to talk about it because it's easy, because
everyone's like just split in the middle, and like everyone. This is something too, not even like necessarily to this point, but it proves this point. People are so stuck in their ways. Like I will, if someone comments on my TikTok something that is just like not what I agree with, or it's just straight up wrong. It's not even that it's my opinion. It's just infactual, like canola oil is bad or whatever. If you try to convince them otherwise, they will never change their mind. That's why it's not ever worth fighting with someone on TikTok or any social media.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That saved me a lot of time, honestly, when I like texted you about it.
Yes, never change their mind.
No, and then it's like, why are we not, like, it's okay to be wrong. That's something that's how we grow. Like my opinions 10 years ago, probably some would be seen as like problematic in some senses. And
we just talked about this. Like, we may have viewed fat phobia completely different 10 years ago.
Yeah. This podcast episode would not be like how it was now. It would be so different.
I think even like 2 years ago, my views were probably completely different than they are now.
Oh,
before I became a dietitian. Once I became a dietitian, I like completely flipped my views around. It was kind of a weird like turn of events, like all of a sudden.
It's just so different when you're like in it.
I think that's it. Like when you're in college becoming a dietitian, it's not talked about at all.
No, they don't talk about fat phobia. They don't talk about the racial inequities. They don't talk about like
diet culture, disordered eating that much. We talk about like the clinical side of like disordered eating and eating disorders and like what to do to make sure someone doesn't get like refeeding syndrome. We don't talk about like who's at risk of that. Why were they at risk of that? Does their past family trauma cause that? How do we treat that? Should they see a therapist? Like we don't learn any of that. And so you don't see it until you're in it.
Yeah.
And now that we're in it, it's like, what do we do about it? Besides trying to raise awareness, talk about it, and be a good dietitian.
One of the things I will note that I do not want to do is I do not want to rewrite the dietetics curriculum. That is not an ambition of mine. Because I was like, that'd be something that'd be good if like I was teaching like dietetic students.
Yeah, but the problem is that the academy is just white women who don't see the problem. And so it's going to always stay the same.
I looked at the candidates. I was like, the thing is like, I have no desire to be on that board or anything like that.
Exactly.
But like, I know like we need more representation.
But like the people who understand this stuff and like want to make the change, like want the change to happen, don't want that kind of position because it's just like not in our wheelhouse.
No, I'd much rather just be like talking on like a podcast about these things. And
yes. Yeah. And that's like what you're good at. Like maybe it wouldn't even be beneficial for you to serve in that position.
Yeah.
but it would just be great if someone would be a good fit for that. I don't know. I don't know why it happens the way it happens. I don't know why it's always the same general group of people who are.
I'm hoping that
Really weird
as
stuff.
like the types of dietitians and the generations of dietitian changes, we see some more representation.
I want some more men too. Like even at like where I work, I just think about like having some men would be so great. Like
I like, yeah.
it's
Talk to like,
we just need diversity in like
perspective.
every aspect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta keep going.
Oh my
I think
gosh,
we're
this
almost
episode's
at
gonna
like
be
2 hours.
It's gonna be like our longest one. It's like episode 2 all over again.
I didn't realize we talked so much about this, but we don't want
We've
to
gotten
say.
really good at being quick and to the point, and
Yeah,
today
but
is
this
not
one
that
was
case.
just no. a
It's a
lot
long
of
time
things to
coming.
say. The next danger with fat phobia is that weight stigma is associated with higher levels of anxiety. Oh, I just skipped something.
That's okay.
We'll get to that. The next one is, oh, this is we're gonna talk about this one for a long time too.
Let's make this like a 2-part episode, maybe.
Yeah, let's cut it in half and maybe we'll just do 2 bonus questions. Or should we just like,
Let's just like end at thin privilege, and then we can like go back and like
do we
add a
do
little
2
clip to
outros?
say.
Okay, yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah. I
We'll
think
say
this should
continued.
definitely be 2 things. The
Yeah.
intro is going to be a little weird then, or we'll add a thing at the end in our outro. We'll be like, we realized we recorded this for so long, so we're making it 2 parts.
Yeah.
But yeah. The next bullet point, next danger is pointing out that someone put on a couple of pounds or saying like maybe you shouldn't be eating that doesn't help anyone.
No, we keep saying this. Like, what do you get from telling someone what they should or shouldn't be doing with their body?
You like, maybe there are good intentions, like maybe you're genuinely concerned about their health, but like, trust us, diet culture and today's society with the fat phobia intricated into itself, they know, like they already probably feel awful about themselves already.
Yes.
Like you don't have to add on top of it. It's not, and even if they are like happy with themselves, like why are you trying to say something? You're implying that something is wrong with their weight or something is wrong with the things that they're eating and they need a change. That is not in your wheelhouse.
No, like the only ones who should be commenting on their body, it shouldn't even be the healthcare providers. There's a spectrum of how much we should even be saying as like dietitians. I would never tell someone, oh, you shouldn't be eating brownies because that'll make you gain weight. But especially like if I was like a friend, like I would never tell Emily that. But like even as like a healthcare provider, even then you shouldn't even be saying things like that.
No, and the only really way I could see this conversation like around that is maybe like if you have high like lipid levels or like there's like a lot of lab values that are off that like could be associated with like high body fat composition, be like, oh, maybe we should refer you to a dietitian and we can try incorporating more lifestyle changes to lower these lab values or like change these things, but not just explicitly saying like you need to lose weight, because it's not just like maybe they'll lose fat. No, maybe they'll lose muscle mass. We don't want that. Then they're gonna get sarcopenia. That's gonna be like an issue. Like
sarcopenia. Yeah,
it's
just don't ever comment on people's bodies. That's the bottom line here.
No,
it does not affect you in any way.
No, nothing good ever comes out of it.
No, and like Emily said, they probably know. Like if
they're
probably aware.
They probably have like either self-deprecating thoughts or like feelings of guilt after what they're eating, or
they're confident and they know that they're allowed. Like in my instance, like if I'm eating a meal that's not the most nutritious, I know that most of the time I usually do. And so if I have pizza and you don't think that's something I should be having, I don't give an F if you don't like me eating pizza, because I'm confident in my choices and that's only one thing that you saw me eating.
Yeah.
So yes, they either already feel bad about themselves and you're not helping, or it doesn't matter because they're allowed to eat that and it's not going to affect them in any way. Or you. Ah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's do the last one.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Weight stigma is associated with higher levels of anxiety, depression, poor body image, and poor self-esteem. So kind of like that with that last one a little bit. People who have been told their whole life that their body is bad or wrong, or maybe they don't fit into plaid seats or benches or whatever, that experience fat phobia in whatever way, or weight stigma in whatever way, that can lead to higher levels of anxiety, depression, poor body image, all of that.
Like, their mental health isn't good.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just it's
infuriating. I'm like, my blood is boiling today.
Yeah, it just is it's so frustrating to like try to tell people like why, and like, I know we talked about this on the opposite side of the spectrum, like complimenting weight loss. That messed me up. But it's like this, there's just don't comment people's bodies.
Like,
that's it. Like, say, like, you can compliment them in other ways, like I love your energy, like being around you makes me happy, like I love your confidence, like, and that's not even like, make sure it doesn't come off passive aggressive though, because I know that's a whole thing. But like,
your energy is so good today.
like, I wish I, like, the like backhanded compliments, like I wish I had your confidence to wear that. Like, don't say things like that.
No,
like,
obviously
make it genuine.
not.
Like, make it genuine. But there's just ways we can go about this.
Yeah.
So
let's get into that.
Yeah, let's get into this. Is technically also, Hannah, I'm thinking we should just we should upload Thin Privilege and then Fat Phobia the next week, because they go so closely together.
Definitely.
We'll just kind of move it around.
Yeah.
But let's talk about ways we can fight. This is Fat Phobia. I just added that on because it was a combo. But how to fight fat phobia. Number one, and this also is very closely associated with diet culture. Think how we combat that. Drop the diet talk.
Yeah.
We don't need to constantly be talking about what diet we're going on. We don't need to constantly be talking about diet starts on Monday. We don't need to be constantly talking about kind of how we're going to compensate for what we just ate, or how we're going to earn our food with exercise, how we're going to burn off brunch, all those things. We don't need to talk about that.
Like, that's so boring.
And also, like, no one's having a good time talking about that.
No, talk about like more important things. Like, what are your dreams? Like, what do you like?
What did you do today that
like,
made you happy? Like, what are you doing for yourself that makes you happy?
How did that brunch make you feel? Like, was it really good?
Yeah.
Probably.
What did you
it's
eat
brunch.
at it? Like,
did you get bottomless mimosas? Cool. You should have, because they're amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. Another way to fight that phobia is this one. You guys probably got the hint.
If you didn't get it,
I'm going to say it very, very clearly. So listen up. Don't comment on other people's bodies. It doesn't help anybody. They've been in that body their whole life. They're well aware of what it looks like, what it's capable of, and what it's doing. Whatever you have to say does not matter. Or affect that body. Like, whatever. Okay, that's that one. You guys already knew that.
Yeah. Next one, kind of, we already talked about, but keep that unsolicited health advice to yourself.
For me, it's the calorie deficit thing right now. Like, every single video.
It's really true.
The word calorie deficit will never be the same to me. I know it's like a metabolic processes or whatever, but like now it's like a diet basically. Calorie deficit is a new diet to me, and I just cannot handle it. Everyone just says to everybody on TikTok, just be in a calorie deficit, just be in a calorie deficit. Like, no, I have a whole 15-minute video on why it's terrible advice. I won't make this go on for 15 minutes.
So you can go listen it to there.
But like, it doesn't help anybody. There's a million reasons why that is not going to help somebody.
No.
Any health advice you have is also probably wrong, because you're not a dietitian.
That's another thing is.
Or a doctor. Like you're not a health
Yeah.
professional. Like you're an accountant in your 50s who's never at once actually learned about nutrition. You have no right to be making health advice. And I actually mean accountant, not the slang for what an accountant sometimes can
Oh
mean.
yeah.
Either one of those though shouldn't be talking about health advice.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is to speak up if you can. Just like Emily and I are very passionately talking about this today. At whatever level you can talk about it. Like if you run for president, that's great. If you have your own little
I
podcast,
would die if a
That's great.
president talked about diet culture. Like
I get my vote.
I'd be like, oh my gosh. Yes, let's talk. Let's take down the diet industry.
Yes,
um
it should be a priority.
yeah. But something that maybe if you don't want to be president, or maybe if you don't want to make a podcast, something else is easy you can do. I actually was talking to one of my friends, and she was saying how she was talking, two of her friends were like super into keto, and like they were doing keto for whatever reason. And their third friend of the friend group was like not very like strongly opinionated. She was like kind of like go with whatever or whatnot. And she was like talking to my friend, and she was like, maybe I'll do keto because like these other two are doing it and they're like loving it and super vocal about it. And my friend was actually like, because she listens to our podcast, she was like, did you know keto does this and this and this? Like you like don't do that. Like it's for like whatever reasons. Like I think it was weight loss. Like don't do it for a weight loss goal, essentially. Yeah. Like it can be like even something like that. Like just speaking up in conversations with like your friends, families. Like this is how we get the conversation going. Like I think we've talked about this, but I feel good about kind of because dietitians can talk about it all day, but if no one else outside of dietitians is going to talk about it, nothing's going to get done.
Yes, that's so true.
It's like as soon as whoever it is like starts bringing it up more and like or like even confronting it in everyday conversation, that's when change is going to happen.
Yeah, because everyone knows that we hate it, but now it's like a matter of like getting that onward and upward. Yeah, that was a good one. Okay. Last one, or not last one, second to last one. I've kind of mentioned some personal ways I've done this, but audit your life and like check yourself. Because like I said, 2 years ago, I had probably done some things that were fat phobic. And like back then I didn't realize that they were, or like I hadn't even like thought about how fat phobia, how it affected others. I was just worried about myself and like whatever life I was living and hadn't thought about how anyone else is struggling.
Yeah.
And so again, like you're not wrong if you've never thought of that. It's just maybe you've never had to worry about it.
Yeah.
So
and now is like a good time to reflect on and kind of reflect on thin privilege, reflect on like fat phobia, like how can I better myself around these to make a more inclusive kind of safe environment for others.
Yeah, exactly.
The last point of how we can fight fat phobia is don't assume that fat people are failed thin people.
I love that one.
That does not, I don't know if I need to add anything to it. Like, I feel like it just speaks for like, if you see someone in a larger body, that does not mean that they like are a failure of a person.
Yes. I just like I'm thinking of like TikTok is all I could think about during this episode because I'm just like so drenched in like these things. I see them all the time.
Yeah, it is scary time on there.
That's a really good one. I really like that one. Like they're not, nope, doesn't need to be even emphasized or like continue to be explained. That it says it all.
So
whoo!
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. We'll let you know it was originally recorded as one, but here we are. So
like 2 hours later.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed part 2 of our thin privilege fat phobia series.
Yeah. Are we doing a bonus question?
feel like we should do a bonus question.
This
I don't
one
know
is
if we
too
should-
intense. Let's get an easier one.
Yeah.
This one I could rant for like another 30 minutes. We don't need that today. Oh, Sid just ripped one. They're so bad.
Phineas.
Hideous. This is not the time. Okay, bonus questions. Let's do the Starburst one that Andy
Oh yeah.
just
yeah.
like freaking
Ignored.
went haywire about. Yeah, okay. Best Starburst flavor. That one should be easy. Okay, time for the bonus question. Nice easy one today. Nice and simple, since we probably just like, I'm exhausted of talking about all that. Like, I just feel so fired up. I need a nap.
Yeah.
So anyway, final or bonus question is, what is the best Starburst flavor? This one can't be that controversial. There's only 4 of them.
I'm
Emily?
pretty sure I have a controversial.
Oh
take.
boy, okay. Is it yellow? It's yellow? How did I just know? When you said controversial, I knew it was yellow because that's the worst one.
I love yellow star.
I have to say, I love lemon stuff, so it's good. Like, I like the lemon one.
It's so good to me. Next one is red after that. Like the deep
Where do you put pink? Is that 3rd or 4th?
third. I hate orange.
I love orange.
That's why I love eating Starburst with other people, because no one wants yellow. And I'm like, I'll take them all. I just like, I don't know. I don't eat a lot of lemon things. It's just they're so, I don't want to say they're not refreshing, but they're like
Kind of, they're like juicy a little bit.
yeah. I like the citrus.
Well, you probably could have assumed this, but Ross likes lemon and like the yellow
Good.
ones,
Yeah, we
since
have
you guys
the
are
same
the same.
opinions.
Yeah. I'm realizing that everyone I like am friends with like have similarities to my husband. I think I just like know who I like, and those are my
You
friends.
find-
And then I like married one of them. That was the dude. So
Yeah.
if I was into women, I probably would have married one of my like lady friends, because that's
Yeah.
like what I'm into, I guess. Mine is pink. I have like the stereotypical like the pink is the best.
That's like, yeah.
That's what
It
everyone
is
kinda likes, I
good.
think it's so good. But I like the lemon. I like them all besides the red. Honestly, for me, red's the last one.
Oh,
Obviously, I eat the reds, but
right.
they're just not
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also don't like orange flavored things. So I think
I love orange.
that's a me problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Is pink strawberry? I don't even know
I
what
think
flavor
so.
it is.
And I'm
Okay.
pretty sure red is cherry.
I got Ross loves Starburst and like chewy fruity things. So I got him like these ones from the UK before, of course. Oh yeah, you do, don't you? I got him these ones from the UK, and they had like black currant. Someone from the UK who listens to the
Oh.
podcast, please tell me how I would say that. A couple other flavors that like were just like not really like very typical
Ooh.
American. They're pretty good. I got them
Nice.
on Amazon or something, I think.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
I never think to order food off Amazon.
I think I was like really desperate for like a gift, and so I was like looking for like really
Yeah.
random like candies. I'm the worst gift giver in the world. I hate giving gifts because I never know what to give. I also hate receiving gifts because I don't like giving gifts, and then I feel guilty if I receive a gift.
Oh,
So if you want to give me a gift, just spend time with me. That's what I like. Quality time is my love language.
Yeah.
That's all I need. Ooh, that could be a bonus question. What's your love language? I'm writing that down.
Ooh, yeah.
Now you guys all know mine, so that will be an easy
Yeah,
one
that
too.
would be-
Love language. And that one's
well,
not very
have you ever
controversial.
heard there's like ways you give love, and there's like ways you like to receive
Oh,
love?
okay,
So
that
we
can
can
be
talk
part of it
about
too.
that, because mine are very different.
I don't know. I'll have to think about that now, because I wonder how I give love. I feel like it's probably the same that I want to receive it. I don't know. I'll think about that for that episode.
Cool. Yeah. Do a quiz on it or something.
Yes, I should.
Cool.
Also, I'll ask you some more out when we're done. Okay. This needs to be done.
Yeah, we need to end this.
Yes.
We've held you against your will long enough. We'll let you be free to do whatever it is you want to do now with your life. Hopefully fight fat phobia.
Yeah.
Join the fight.
Right. Okay. Thank you guys so much for
Cool.
listening to part 2 of this episode. It ended up being the 2-parter. And we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, bye.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in on this episode of the Up-Beet Dietitians with your hosts Emily Krause and Hannah Thompson.
We appreciate you all so much for continuing to support us. In order to support us and sustain the success of this podcast, please subscribe and leave a rating and review.
If you'd like to provide us feedback for future episodes and guest stars, follow us on Instagram at the Up-Beet Dietitians.
Lastly, you can show us support by providing a monthly donation using the link at the end of our bio.
Once again, thank you so much for listening today, and stay tuned next Wednesday for a new episode. Until then, we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week.